Hey guys, it's April. If you are a Patreon or Ko-fi supporter, you may have seen this box before, but we do have a lot of new people. And this box right here is just so versatile. We can do anything with it. In this file, it's called the personalized box file. And that's the one you're going to get. I've already renamed mine because I did a save as. So when you get it, you're going to bring it in, you're going to do a save as, and you can name it whatever you want. But I like to keep a copy of the personalized box all to itself. Just in case you forget to do that save as when you open it up to start working in there, I have included a second lid so that it's just hidden in the file. If you look in there, you can find it. You want to do that each time and keep your box. You don't want to have 20 or 30 box lids in there because you'll bog down your design space. And you'll see what I mean here in a moment. So this one's going to be called the Be Mine box. And we're going to do it a little bit different for Valentine's Day. I did create an SVG in Sure Cuts a lot for you guys. And all you're going to do is go to Upload, Upload. You're going to, after you've downloaded your image, you're going to browse. You're going to bring that in and you're going to open it up. And it's going to come in at the sizes that it needs. And you're just going to name it and tag it. And I'm just going to put the Be Mine box. I've already done this, so you can tag it with whatever you would look it up with. Bees, hearts, honeycomb, whatever tags you want to use, that's what you need to use, because maybe one day Cricut will give us a searchable feature for our own projects, and that will help find it. So let's have save, and then you'll see it right there. I'm just going to delete one because I don't need two of them. And we're going to select it, the green boxes around it, and you're going to insert that image. Okay? And like I said, it's going to come in sized to the size that you need it. If you want to change your sizes, go for it. You can do that. Okay? So once you bring that in, we're going to come over here and we're going to ungroup. Okay? I'm going to just slide all of my elements over here out of the way. And we have this and we're going to ungroup it as well. I'm going to bring this down. You don't need to be resizing anything, okay? I'm just going to slide this over. And we're going to come right here and we're going to go down to the bottom right and detach. We want to detach those score lines. They're all attached together, but that we want to detach them from the box lid, okay? Just slide them down out of your way as well. Then you're going to take this extruded layer that I made, and let's send our box to the back. And we're just going to bring it in. You just want it to touch. I want mine to touch right up here at the top and the sides. And then you're going to select those two layers and you're going to weld it, okay? And now you see all these teeny tiny little holes in here. Those will not cut well, okay? Especially if you're using a heavy box. They're just really too small for paper, okay? So you're going to select your lid and come down to the bottom right to contour. And you're going to go in and you're going to click on each one of those and get rid of those. This is removing cut lines, okay? We're going to leave our big cut line there in the middle. We're just going to take those little pieces out. These bigger pieces we want to leave. Those will cut just fine, okay? If you're concerned about this right here, grab yourself a shape. You can even make it just a little bit bigger if you want to, your Be Mine, but make sure that you group this layer, and that extruded layer all together. You want them grouped when you size it. But I'm just going to throw another shape over there just so it doesn't cut so deep there, and weld it. So now I've taken care of that little long cut that would have been in there. And we're going to I'm going to send that back to the back. I'm going to arrange, send it to the back. And now we're going to bring that B up there because we're going to cut that in one color, and you can see that all of those are attached. That dot may not be attached well right there. If you want to put a circle on it or a little square just to beef it up, you can, because it's hard to do. I didn't have the box in Sure Cuts a lot, so it was kind of difficult to see. So I'm just going to take that and I'm going to weld it. Just put a little tiny square over it, and now that's going to cut as one piece. I don't have any cut lines in between, so that's what I want, because this is going to cut in 3 pieces. This B is going to be 1, mine is going to be 1, and your exclamation is going to be 1. So you'll have that, and then I'm hoping that this will cut well for you. If not, if those little lines and those teeny tiny hearts do not cut well, what you can do is you can select both of these, this piece here and this piece here, and you can align, center, and you can flatten, and you can do that as a print and cut and then put that on your box. Okay, so I'm hoping that it cuts well because I really want the layers, so I'm just going to undo this. There we go. Because I want to cut a yellow layer, and then I want to cut that layer and place it over that. So if it cuts well, that's fine. If not, we're going to flatten it and we're going to cut it so that we can have a nice pretty little layer there. Okay, next we're going to take our honeycomb and we're going to ungroup that. I'm just going to slide my B mine out of the way. We select both of those, align, center, and I'm just going to group them, and that way if they don't cut well, all I have to do is come in, hit flatten, and then print and cut it. Same thing here. This should cut fine, shouldn't be a problem. I'm going to take this black layer, this is the extruded layer, and I'm just going to kind of place it where it touches over here, touches that B up there, and touches the bottom of the box here. Again, I'm going to select both the box and the honeycomb, and we're going to weld. And then I'm going to check for anything that's extremely small. All of that looks pretty good, should cut fine without a problem. I'm going to send this to the back, and then I'm going to select both of these. Now, one thing I want you to do, when you cut these 2 pieces out of whatever colors that you use, save some of those hexagon pieces, because we're going to take those out of here and we're going to place a couple on top right here. Okay, and if you want to, you can use some of the same colors and layer them up, but not necessary. So I'm going to align, center, and I'm going to group those. So that's going to go right there when we glue this together. This is going to go right here. And then we need to figure out where we want our little B to be. Let me align, center on that. And group. I'm kind of thinking I want my B to be right about here, because remember, we're going to be putting some of the darker brown hexagons right here, or octagons, I'm sorry, hexagons. We're going to be putting those right there. So that's going to give us a little bit of color on that. So I'm thinking I want mine right here, and that way they can see through the window to see whatever goodies you put in that box. So I'm going to put that there. I'm going to ungroup it. If you want to resize yours, twist him, turn him, do any of that, you can do that. Just going to select the box and the B area and weld. And now I do want to take out those 2 small pockets. So I'm going to go to contour. It's going to pop up, and I'm going to take that one out and take that one out and that one out. That way it gives a good flat surface for my B to be on that box. I'm going to send that to the back. So now we're going to cut our pretty pieces and all of that out of our decorative papers here, and then our box is going to support. Now your box is going to be the same color on the back side when they open that up in the window. So if you want your window to be pretty, you're going to have to do 2 of these. Okay, and this one you're going to have to flip because it is a word, and so that it will fit in there, I believe. Let's see. Flip, horizontal. You should be able to flip it. If you print and cut it, you're going to have to flip it. So just so you know that. but I'm fine with mine being the color of my box lid, so I'm not going to worry about cutting extras. Now the next thing you want to do is bring your score lines back, and if your box is not, if your score lines are behind your box, just send your box to the back. You're going to select both. We're going to align, center, and we're going to reattach those score lines. This piece is going to be your acetate, clear acetate or decorative, whatever you want it to be. This piece, I do this the same color as my box lid to cover and make that acetate piece look finished. It's going to go back there. These are going to go to the top. And we're going to glue those on right like that. Bring that to the front. And then we're going to bring this to the front. And we're going to line those up. And you can see that everything lands inside the score lines there. I may have that off just a little bit. There we go. Right there. So that's the way you want everything to line up when you put it on the box there. And if this overlaps a little bit, that's okay. That's going to look so cute. And here is the base of your box. This is the box bottom. I'm going to arrange and send that to the back. That is going to be your base. And then we're going to save. Okay, I'm going to do a save as because it's making me. And I'll just get rid of that one. And then we'll save. So now I have my Be Mine box and I didn't mess up my bases. I still have a base in here if I want to come back later and I decide I want to change something. Where is that? Right down here. You can see the attach. If I bring this up and unhide that group, you can see that I still have a box lid that has nothing in it. So I have one that I can start fresh. I can delete this one, start fresh, or just delete this one and do a save as, and then it will just have my box lid that's blank in there. All right, you guys come on over to the overhead and we're gonna put this box together. Okay guys, here we are on the overhead. Now I did add this to my file for a tag. You can add one if you want. This is Beehive hashtag M3CB0B, and you can find that in Design Space. I sized it to a 3-inch height is what I sized it to. I left it locked, so if you want to size that up to a 3-inch height, that's what I used. Here is the box that we're making. This is the one that Mary Ann made me for Christmas. She sent me a goodie in. And this is the basic box, okay? She stuck a tag onto the front of it, but this is the same lid that you have in that file without anything in it, okay? But we're making that same exact box. Now I do keep the piece that comes out of my frame, which is the goes inside the box. I keep that. You can put that down in the bottom of the box if the cardstock that you're using isn't sturdy enough for your gift. You can put that in there and kind of give it some strength. So I use mine for that. I'm not going to be using it on this one because I'm using Cricut craft board, and this is heavier than poster board. But you can get away, depending on, if you're just putting a t-shirt in there, you could probably get away with 80-pound Cricut cardstock. If you're putting baked goods or something in there, I'm going to say you want to go with a 110-pound cardstock weight. And you're just going to fold that on its score lines. And I've got a little bit of cracking going on there. And that the heavier craft board will crack a little, and that's okay. It'll be fine. It's the way that the grain of the paper runs. It causes that. You're just going to fold on all those score lines. Fold it all to the inside. This is a good size box for baked goods, for t-shirts, for tons of things. I'm using art glitter glue, and you can get that sometimes on Amazon. You can also get it at artglitter.com. It dries clear and matte. There is no glitter in it. You do want the fine tip, if you can get that with it as well. We're just going to make sure that our corners are lined up. You don't want them to be like that. You want to keep them nice and flush, okay? Nice flush corners. I think that grabbed faster than I really wanted it to, but that's okay. All right, so now we're going to go to the other side and we're going to do the same. And I had no problem, as I stated, if you're having a problem cutting that intricate wording, you could do a print cut. I cut mine beautifully on intricate cardstock. I used Cricut black cardstock for it. I can find one under here. They all cut just beautifully. No problem. First try. So there's the base of the box, all done. I'm just going to let that sit and dry. Make sure you got all your edges glued. You don't want it popping apart on you. And then we're going to start with the lid. And again, you're going to fold on the score lines. And this can be a little bit tricky because you don't have much area here. So it may be a little thin, but you can get it. Just take your time. This is a bone folder. You can get those. This is a Teflon folder. You can get these on Amazon. There's a link down below. You want to try to get the Teflon like that. The others, they can over time wear down and get nicks and dings in them, and then they don't do so well. So there we have all those, and then we're going to fold these tabs in. And I used just a basic craft cardstock for this because of the type box that it is. I forgot to get my twine. I'll have to get up and get that. Just like we did on the base, you can do the same thing on the top. Glue all your tabs to the inside. Keep the corners nice and flush. Just going to give that a second to dry. While that's drying, I'm just going to glue my little tag together. And I put For My Honey on there. You can, of course, put whatever you want on your tag. I did add a circle right up in the corner of the heart of that so that it would slice. Well, actually, I sliced mine out. But you can just attach your circle. All you're going to do is take and put a small circle in there. I think I did 0.15. You're going to duplicate it. You're going to align them center and group them. And then you're going to slide them over where you want them on top of this. I left these grouped. Then in the layers panel, I selected my circle and I selected my yellow layer and I sliced. And then I just went into the layers panel and selected my other circle and my brown layer and I sliced, and then it allowed me to throw out the trash from there. But if you want, you can just attach a circle in the exact same spot on both of them or punch them afterwards. Either way. So my next step, I'm going to try to have some other pieces in here. The static electricity on this foil has all my pieces stuck to it. This is Cricut foil acetate, and I am putting the gold side. It's gold on one side, silver on the other with the foil, and I am going to put the gold to the outside. Cricut foil acetate has a little plastic coating, and that protects, during shipping, protects the foil. So I know that I want the gold down, so I'm going to flip my box over, and let's see. I'm just going to use my tape runner. You can use art glitter glue. Well, I guess I will. I'll just use my art glitter glue. Just going to run a bead right around the center. You don't want to put glue in the middle of your box. You'll be able to see it. Even though this dries matte and clear, you'll be able to see all the little glue spots, and you don't want that. And with my gold to the inside, I'm just going to drop that in and give it a little press. You can use clear, you can use old matte protectors, you can use whatever it is that you have on hand. That electrostatic is really getting to that, isn't it? So now I'm going to take this frame, and then I'm just going to run the bead of glue on there. If I get my fingers in it, I get my fingers in it. That's all there is to it. Okay. And now we're going to just drop that right in to give that a finished look on the inside. To me, it just makes the box look a little bit better. Okay. And now we're going to work on the top. Okay. So I'm going to start with this piece. And I'm going to put some glue in here. And I'm just going to dot some on the outer edges. And do a couple inside. There we go. And then we're just going to place that piece in there. Try not to get glue on your acetate. You can always wait and do your acetate last. I'm just going to flip it over. I'm just going to give it a rub. Don't worry about the little bits of glue. Those will dry clear and matte with this art glitter. Again, I cut these pieces on intricate cardstock, and I had no issue cutting them whatsoever. And we're just going to place that. It's going to give it that little bit of a 3D effect. You want to get the edges because you don't want those pulling up on you. You could even, if you have a Creative Station sticker maker, then you could just run this piece through there if you wanted to. I just prefer the glue. How cute is this? Just going to flip it over. A little bit of a rub so I can distribute that glue on that piece. Love it, love it, love it. And now I'm going to work with my words. Here is mine. Now I did not weld my black lettering together. You guys saw that when I did the file. If you want to weld your black lettering together, you can, just so you can keep it in place on the mat, but it isn't going to matter when you bring it over here. Oops. Oh, no, that's right. Thought I put the wrong piece down. I'm just going to place that one. And then we're going to do our B. Oops, dropped it. And we're going to bring that piece right in there on the top of that. And now we have all of our little letters. So I'm just going to start working on them. And you can tell the difference between the exclamation, and I haven't put that yellow piece down yet, and the I, and I will show you that here in just a second. Now these go center of the yellow, so you should see yellow all the way around your lettering. Let's get this piece on. These go to the edge. These go to the top edges and side edges. I got that one off a little bit, but it'll be okay. And then all of the E's should be the same. This is so stinking cute, and I just put glue on the wrong side of my B. Make sure you pay attention to that. Don't want to do what I just did. I put my glue on the wrong side. I'm glad it dries matte and clear. I may have to cut another, but I hope not. All of you guys who are new, if you have any problems, just make sure that you ask in the group. We'll be happy to help you, as well as any of you who are not new. Okay, when you look at these side by side, there looks like there's just really no difference, but if you take a look, the line on the exclamation point is a little bit longer than the one on the I, and it's a little curved. It's really hard to see on camera, but the line is longer. It's cut longer than the one in the I. You can see up here you have more space on the I, so make sure you have your right one in the right spot. You might want to have a little dish when you're taking this off the mat to put everything in a little dish so you don't lose any pieces like the dots of your eyes. The dots, the dot to the I is smaller than the dot to the exclamation. Okay, let's do that the easy way. Oh, I said the easy way. And put that glue there and then add your dot. Use just a little straight pen while it's still wet, and we're going to line that little guy up. There we go. Super cute. How cute is this? I have a little glue there. This is a glue eraser. Unless you mess up like me, you probably won't need one. But you can get those on Amazon too. It's called a gum eraser. Take your glue off. All right, now let's put our little bee together. And his little behind goes to the right. We're going to stick his face on there. And there is a little bit of a border. I didn't want it to be too, I wanted it to pop in case you had it next to your honeycomb. And without that black border, it wouldn't pop. So, and then we have 3 tiny pieces. Make sure you don't throw these away when you're on your mat, taking stuff off your mat. You need these 3 little pieces. You could always flatten this piece if you want to, instead of working with all these small pieces. It would go quicker, but I just kind of like the look of the layered cardstock for this project, and I just dropped it. Try not to drop it and get glue everywhere. Just using my straight pen and getting some of that excess glue out of that little hole there. And then I am going to place my heart on before I do those other 2 pieces to help me line that up. If I remember which way this goes. Can always go back, which is what I'm going to do right here. I am going to cancel where I cut on the mat, and I'm going to go back and take a look at my design. Okay, and it does go that way. I had it the right way. And we're just, oops, maybe I didn't. I had it right. There we go. It's going to go right up in there. I got this piece a little bit crooked. That's what it is. But he's still cute. Stinking cute is that? Now I have to decide. I have what's called some wobbles here. You can get these at scrapbook.com, Amazon, but they're called action wobbles. These are the minis, and the minis are quite large. So if you're looking at buying some of the large ones, please know that that is a mini. Okay? And I have ink on my hands. Don't pay attention to that, all of that. Big heavy plastic side goes down. So I am going to place that right here. I just pulled the release liner off of it, and I'm going to stick it down. I'm going to go on the inside and press it. I am also going to put just a little dab of glue around the edges. Probably should have put a little bit on there, just in case. Try to seep it in there. I should have put it on after the release liner. Sometimes they don't want to stay. Maybe that one will be okay. Then I'm going to peel off the release liner here and here. You don't need any extra glue unless you just want it. If you know that you're going to be giving it to somebody that's going to be flicking it all the time, you might want a little extra. So I'm going to use a glue dot. I'm going to place that on there. really, really, really sticky. And oops, I want to get my little bee lined up. And then I'm just going to pop it down. Just enough to stick, and then do your pressing from the other side. How stinking cute is that? So now let's do some of our honeycombs. I'm just going to probably just put a couple of those on there. And this is absolutely not necessary, totally up to you if you want to do these. I could have just cut them out, but sometimes I like to have just a solid area there too. You might want to do some different color papers on there as well, maybe some gold, and I think I might do that. Oh well, I've already put my glue. Like some gold foil in a couple of these, mix and match. Might put a gold foil on that one. That's what I'll just use a yellow one there to remind me. I'm going to go back and cut myself a couple of gold foil ones. I think I'll put gold foil there. This will help me remember where I'm going to put my gold foil in here. So I'm going to cut 3 hexagons the size of these, and all I'm going to do, and I'll go over to the screen and show you guys. I'm just going to use my contour button on that brown piece. I'm going to remove the, that's good. I'm going to remove the outside cut line, leaving just the inside, and cut 3 gold ones, and I'll be right back. Just going to use this one right here. So I'm going to ungroup that. And right here, I'm just going to take this piece and I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm just going to make it blue so I don't have to hide everything on my mat and do all of that crazy stuff. And I know what I'm going to cut that from. So I'm just going to align those back up and group them so that when I get through, I can just delete the blue one. So I'm going to group that. So right here, this is the one I want. I'm going to go down to my contour, and I'm going to get this piece here or here. You can click either one. And I'm just going to click it and then go back and close that. And all I have are these little pieces. I only need 3 of them, so I'm going to go back in contour, and I'm going to hide all contours. I'm going to 1, 2, 3 of them. Going to go back and hide the big piece because you can't hide all contours. That's the same as delete. And now I have 3 blue dots. So I'm going to go to make it. And then I'm going to go down to that blue mat. I'm going to select that, continue. I'm going to turn my Cricut on, and I'm going to cut those 3 dots. And then I'm just going to go back and delete that piece. There we go. So I'll see you back on the overhead. Okay, I'm not sure which point my camera cut off. All I did was finish putting my tag together and put my twine on it, and I looped it over my bee, and I put my foil pieces on. I did use a shimmer pen on parts of my honeycomb and my lettering and my bee. That is a Spectrum Noir. So you can get those at Hobby Lobby, Michael's. You can get them on scrapbook.com, Amazon. There's links down below. But there you go. This is a supporter file. You can find it on craftingwithapril.co. If you're not a supporter, please click that Patreon link below and support me on Patreon to get access to this file and many, many more. Catch you on the next video.